Hello, everyone. Welcome to The Wire. Here we are. Here we are again, talking to each other all about accreditation success. It's Australian Service Excellence Standards accreditation success, but it could be general accreditation success. The topics are very applicable to whatever kind of quality journey you are on. I've got some good friends here in the room live today and some others who will turn up soon, I'm sure. But I'm Marie Davidson. And before we get started, let's acknowledge that we are on Aboriginal land. Today, I'm on the land of the Biripi people here in my hometown of Port Quarry on the mid-north coast of New South Wales. And I would like to acknowledge their elders, the keepers of knowledge, and their deep connection to the land and waters here, and invite you to acknowledge the First Nations traditional custodians of the lands that you're joining us from today. If you would like to, take this moment to do that.
Yes, I'd like to acknowledge the Wiradjuri, I don't know if I said the right people of this land. Yes.
Thank you, Terry. Liska is acknowledging in the chat the Gadigal people on the land that she's joining us from. And Lisa?
I'm Montgomery country.
Thanks very much, Lisa. All right. The topic today, now I've selected this topic because it's topical. Well, yeah, it's very topical. It's coming up a lot. A lot of organisations, large and complex, even those that are not so large and complex, will sometimes have multiple standards and accreditations that they have to be compliant with. Is that you? Is that you? Is it more than just the Australian Service Excellence standards that you have to comply with? Probably. Even if it's not a formal accreditation program, there probably are still lots of standards and guidelines and codes and things like that that you have to be compliant with. And what that provides is an opportunity for what we call equivalency, which is a form of recognition. And so this conversation comes up when organisations are in that space where they have to be accredited or comply with a range of standards. And they say, but how can we want to get some credit for what we've done over there, over here, and we don't want to have to do it twice. And it feels like duplication. So there's all that kind of conversation going on. So we've been giving a lot of thought to streamlining in general, thinking on ways that we can make it easier for every organisation, not just those big complex ones, but there should be lots and lots of ways to cut out any unnecessary effort in the accreditation process, right? That's what we're about. We're not about making it harder, we're about making it easier. And so to start my preparation for today, what I did was I looked up the definition of streamlining because I thought, I want to know exactly what that really means. So I did that. You can Google along with me if you want. But the one that I found that I liked the most, that I thought was the most relevant to all of us, was make an organisation or a system, right? So we're probably talking the system side of this because we're talking about a quality system or an accreditation system. Yeah. Make an organisation or a system more efficient and effective by employing faster or simpler working methods. Right? Faster or simpler. That's what we're about. So we're going to talk to you about faster and simpler ways to approach the accreditation. Okie dokie. Now, there's a lot that you can do and there's a lot that we can do. So that's how I've broken up my big fat list of all the ways that we could be streamlining the accreditation today. Now, it's only my list. There are community sector legends in the room here who might be willing to share their tips for how they've made the accreditation process. Now, this could be in the preparation, this could be during the assessment, this could even be after the assessment. Are there any ways that these legends have made it simpler or faster? Give me your hot tips now, if you like. Have you found any ways to make it simpler or faster?
So for us, we really use the BNG portal as a way to act as a project management. It's there, it's all there. You don't have to do anything.
I think that was their intention. I think that was B&G's intention. Now, if you are not sure what we're talking about when we're talking about the B&G portal, that's what we tend to call it in here. That's our lingo, but it's actually called the B&G or Breaking New Ground SPP, or Standards and Performance Pathways Quality Portal. Yeah, see, we just call it the B&G portal. And it is, isn't it? It's like an accreditation lead's best friend in a way, Liska, isn't it?
Yes, it is.
What parts of the process do you find it helps to streamline the most? Like where are the parts where it's sort of getting quite easy in there?
So because we're on round 2, there is a way of replace all. So you can, at every single place where you have your annual review document or your constitution, so you can just upload it to the most recent copy. Genius and lifesaver. And the standards action plan is absolutely brilliant because it acts as a project management plan that makes people accountable for their actions. Emails them out to remind them they have actions. You can use it to track when things are due. So yeah, they're the two main ones that have been really, really helpful for us. And also extracting, there's a question and answer section where you can extract your entire everything you've submitted, and it presents it in a really beautiful way, either in an Excel spreadsheet or on a PDF, where it lists how you've addressed each indicator, the narrative you provided, and all of the evidence document you've provided. So if you need like an oversight of your everything you've submitted, we found that really, really useful in this second round. Yeah.
Wow. So there's 3 great aspects of using the B&G portal that will help to streamline the whole process. It streamlines the process for the organisation, as Liska's just described, but it also streamlines the process for us. And there's a couple of ways that we find it helpful is that we can be given access early to go in there and give you some feedback on the evidence that you've started submitting through your self-assessment. So we can do that nice and early, and we can say, oh, wait, that's too much. Don't need all those documents. Or, hey, that's looking really good, but we can't find this, that, and the other. So make sure you put those in. So that can happen early. Okay. And we also get a view of that report that Liska just spoke about. So it makes the overview of the whole assessment for us really easy to do our document review, which is the part that we'll do as a desktop before we come to your site. So it just, yes, I mean, we are fans of it because we have seen it work for so many organisations, large and small, but, there is a cost. So if you're not using that portal, it doesn't matter. We're going to talk today about different ways of streamlining that you won't need that B&G portal for, but it's super helpful. Lisa, do you use it?
Yeah, absolutely. We actually also have our board. We've started a second portal for our board. Yeah. So it stores all, which they recommended. I sat in on something a couple of years ago. So our board actually have a portal where all the board documents are kept, and they all have access to the board portal, which is great. I don't know if that's
amazing.
Yeah, I think hopefully that'll result in a bit of streamlining for me. But yeah.
Oh, that's wonderful to be using it that way.
Has many uses.
Yeah. It's like a Ferrari, isn't it? Like it'll go super fast as long as you know how to drive it properly. So, there's so much in the B&G portal that we probably could be using that we might not know about, which is why we keep getting James to come on back and give us all the, the drum on the tips for our sort of organisations. I'll play you a little bit of one of his because there's 2 really great tips in there, good examples of what we're talking about. I'll play that in a minute. Terry, do you happen to know anything about the B&G portal?
I don't. So this is obviously, this is our round 2 as well.
Great.
And Chrissy, who you've spoken with, I think, she did round 1. She'll be doing round 2 again. but I'm in here because I manage the site, so I'm well aware of that process and what's going to happen.
Excellent. Excellent, Terry. You're going to find lots of other helpful recordings of these kinds of webinars in our resources that would also be helpful for you as well. So you've got an exciting Saturday night coming up as well. Well, thank you for that. Yes,
Yay.
just anyone, you don't have to use the BNG portal. You don't have to use that portal. We've got lots of ways for you to submit your evidence to us without using the portal. So it's just a tip. All right. Well, thank you to my legends for giving us your tips. Lisa, any other tips you want to share at any time about streamlining the process in general? Because this is your second round as well, and I happen to know your organisation's all over it. So if there's anything you wanted to share, please unmute yourself and interrupt me at any time. But I have got a list. We've been thinking a lot about this. As I said, we are piloting a great big equivalence assessment with an organisation at the moment. So we're having a look at how that would look. Now, what that means is they are showing us their other accreditation reports. There's about 3 or 4 of them, right? So they do out-of-home care and they do NDIS and they do some mental health. So there's just 3 that I can think of off the top of my head that they've recently been accredited for. And so BNG have helpfully mapped all of the requirements of those other accreditation programs to service excellence. So I'll be using that mapping report to go through the accreditation and identify where they have equivalence. Okay, so if anybody's ever done an RPL for a qualification, you know, recognition of prior learning, it's like that. Right? It's like for like for like for like. If it's only a partial like it's almost there but not, no. It has to be exactly the same. So it's not a lot. Like for this organisation, I've done the first part and it's about 30 to 40%. Right? So that's good for them. That's good for them because it streamlines it for them. It makes it simpler and it makes it faster, you see? So watch this space because the Service Excellence team, they're an amazing group of people in South Australia, and they are putting together a great big equivalence matrix. Right, now that's going to make you want to take the blue pill, I reckon, but it's going to be helpful for us because we'll be able to see where there's like for like. Right, so that's good news, but that's probably a year away. But we're just piloting something with this organisation now. Just to see how it feels for everyone who's involved, including the Service Excellence Management team. Yeah. So that's how we like to roll. We like to get in first and do these things first and see, you know, how it feels. And then we can, you know, we can share it with a lot more organisations. So that's where we're at with that sort of very formal streamlining called equivalence. Okay. Let's start off with something simple. This list is divided into before the assessment, during the assessment, after the assessment. It's also divided into what we do and what you can do. Okay? So here we go. Here we go. Where are my missing notes? All right. We will deliver information sessions and share free resources with you. If you have your information session early, that's a really great way to engage all the people who will be helping you. So please take advantage of those information sessions, right? We can talk to anyone in your organisation that you would like to engage. So you can put them in front of us. We can be helpful. We also have a ton of free resources that you'll access through our website. So we've unpacked almost all of the standards and most of the indicators. And so we've got a lot of resources under each of those. So if you're doing your self-assessment and you're getting a bit stuck, don't sit around for too long before you dip in there and see what's available because it's all Service Excellence accreditation aligned. Okay, it's all about your accreditation success. So we've got that. So that's something we can do for you, but you will organise the information session for us. We will come along. Start with your previous report. Get your previous report out. Every organisation that's joining me live here today, they're all coming second cycle. So they've all got a previous report. If you've got a previous report, you're going to go in there and you're going to say, right, what did we put up last time? And so what can we show again? It's similar, but just needs the updated version put in. So start with your last report, and you streamline it that way because your last report will have in it the evidence that we use to assess you as meeting that requirement. So that's a really great place to start to go, are they still relevant? Are they still valid? Have we got an updated version of that policy? Yep, okay, so we're going to put it in there, take the old one out, put the new one in. We're good to go. You see? So I don't want you to feel like you have to start over. It's much quicker to start from where you were. Yeah? So that's something you can do before. Project plan. Now, you heard Liska talk about the value of having a project plan. In B&G, there's one built in. If you're not using that portal, we've got a project plan we can give you. It's got every single annoying step through the whole process on it. And it looks overwhelming, but you can quickly delete many of them, take them out and go, we've done that, done that, done that. We're up to 10 already. So that's a good feeling. We can give you a project plan and you can take it and change it and add things in, put people's names next to it. So project planning, always having a roadmap, that's a very efficient way to get something done, isn't it? To be able to tick things off. That feels so good, doesn't it? Ticking things off a list. Oh. Whoa, yes, before is another one. Oh, we want to give you feedback early. Remember I said we want to have a look at your self-assessment early. Just a couple of standards. You don't have to show us the whole thing. All right, but it's like a little preview of your evidence, and we would like to give you some feedback to say, spot on. Or, oh, crikey, really? Nice and early. So you're not wasting time. We're not wasting time at the time that we're going to be coming on site and we don't have the documents that we need. Okay? So we want to give you that. You know, like it's informal feedback because it's not part of the assessment, but we give it to you in a formal way. We actually have a template that we use that talks to you about the sufficiency of what we're seeing, the currency of what we're seeing, the validity. That means a good match for the standard. We'll tell you if we think that the document is, you know, accessible, it's in good language. Like, we give you lots of good feedback about your evidence nice and early. All righty? So please take advantage of that. Your assessor can do that, or I can do that. Doesn't matter who does that for you. Before here we go. We have got 2 videos from B&G, from James Houston has attended our On the Wires twice, and he has put together a list of tips for organisations starting their accreditation journey and those that are getting reaccredited. All right, now here's just a little example. I'm going to share my screen with you. I'm going to give you a snippet of James's talk and 2 of the best tips. Liska's already hooked into one of them, but here we go. I'm going to see if I can share that with you. And you see what I mean. And I'm going to also pop a document in the chat for you and save it into a folder for those that are watching from home, because you'll easily be able to access those 2 videos. You won't have to go looking for them in our library. You can just go click, here they are. All right, so here, just one second, let me cue that up again. Ba-da-ba-da. This is what I'm talking about here.
Excellence standards or NDIS or whatever it might be, we will tailor our comms, you know, some sort of messaging or some sort of SPP alert to those that have favoured a certain set of standards, or maybe those that sit within a certain portal. So if you're in the AXA quality portal, which is obviously focused on aged care, something important is happening in terms of the aged care quality standards, or we've got a new resource or a new self-assessment in relation to clinical governance in aged care or something, we will send out an alert to those people who effectively, you know, made it obvious that they're interested in aged care. So it's just worthwhile favouring the things that are important to you, because it'll help us to, you know, get the right messaging through to you guys, and also not send you things you don't want. Now, another important thing I want to show everyone as well is in the Documents tab, there's just a couple of handy tips here. So first of all, I thought people might be interested to see when we are loading up documents into the platform, there's a couple of ways you can do that. So while you're actually self-assessing against a particular set of standards like ASES, for example, you can load up one document at a time while you're actually self-assessing. But what can be more efficient is to pre-populate your document library, and I'll show you how to do that in just a second. So we go into the Documents tab just here. We click on Add Documents, and what I want to show you, two things here. Oh, hang on a second. Let me see if I can just get back. Just want to get you back into the platform. I'm on my, oh. Bear with me a moment. Here we go. Okay, so in the Documents tab, and let me show you how we can just bulk upload. Oh, I probably won't upload too many, but if we just want to upload, let's say 5 docs, we can drag and drop them in here. And then probably some of you think, yeah, I'm already familiar with that. You know, that's nothing terribly new for me. But what we've also done is added in this automatically name all documents using the file name. So if we click on that, that then automatically names the documents based on whatever the file name was originally, you know, when I pulled it up from my computer folders. If you don't want to use the computer name, you can, you know, go and type over that name. But that just might make life a little bit easier. If you're bulk uploading 10 docs at a time, you can auto name them, so you don't spend a whole lot of time just retyping the exact name. So hopefully, you know, just a simple little tip there for you on how to, you know, more efficiently use your document library and to load up documents. The other thing I want to make sure that people are aware of as well, which is a handy tip, and we kind of often just assume that everyone's aware of things like this, but let's say, you know, here we've got our client rights charter and we might have linked that to, you know, a certain set of standards. If we update that document, and that evidence document is already linked to a couple of places, let's say in the aged care standards, for example, we can edit and replace that doc. So effectively replace the old client rights charter with the new updated version of the client rights charter. And in doing so, straight away, wherever the old client rights charter had been linked to, it'll immediately be replaced with the new client rights charter. So that's just an efficient way of, rather than deleting something and having to go back into the, you know, the self-assessment or the set of standards concerned and then relink the new updated doc, you just do an edit replace. Much.
See what I mean? So there's 2 of those talks from James, and he takes you through the most helpful tips, the way to use the portal in the most efficient way to streamline your whole effort. Okay? So yeah. I would suggest watching those, even if you've been using the portal for a while. Yeah. It's a good little refresher. Do you think, Lisa?
Absolutely. I'm going to watch them this afternoon.
Did you know about those 2? Liska knew about the replace one.
I knew about the bulk upload.
Yeah,
I didn't get the benefit of the edit and replace, but now I 100% do.
Yes. Even the naming, getting it to name the documents, you know, for you, that's helpful too. So anyway, I wanted you to know that those are there, and James has been very generous to do those for us. So I'm going to give you the links directly. In fact, I'm going to probably just do that now. Actually, I'll do it just before you leave, so you've got it immediately, Lisa. Okay. All right, back to my list. All right, so get on there and have a look at all those BNG tips before. That's a before one. Okay, before. We are giving you the drum on reducing the evidence burden. Now, it is an evidence burden if you think, now I don't ever like saying this, I hate it when I have to say this. There are 100 indicators, and we're suggesting 2 to 3 pieces of evidence per indicator. Now, you can do the maths on that. You can even do the girl maths on that, which is the kind of maths I do. It's like, that's nearly 300 pieces of evidence. So what we've done is we like to, I'm just going to mute you, Terry. I feel very rude when I do that, but I'm hearing things I don't want to hear. We don't want you to have to search around and, think, oh, I've got to have this and I've got to have that and I've got to have them and I've got to have lots. No, you don't. You just choose the best three. In some cases, it'll only be 2 pieces of evidence. In fact, 1 or 2 cases, you'll only need 1 document, such as the indicator that says, do you have a current strategic plan? Yes, we do. Right, put it in. Move on. See that? You don't need to go, oh, what else do we need? Because we've got to have 3. We have unpacked all the standards in these webinars because we want you to be lean. We don't want you to think that it's volume that's going to get you through this accreditation. We don't like volume, right? Because we have to look at all those documents in our document review. So we just want you to choose the 2 or 3 best pieces of evidence that tell the story there about what's in place. All right. So streamlining with your evidence means being really lean, pulling out the best document that tells the story for that indicator. All right. Even if there's 10 and you're so very proud of all those things you've been doing and it's wonderful, it really clogs up the process for you and for us. So, all right. Does that sound okay? Not being too bossy. But we have given you lots of guidance on that on all of our webinars, and we will give you guidance if you're not sure. But be careful about getting your guidance from Liska. I think it might be your noisy crew. So sorry, love, I've muted you as well, only because I can hear your people. I don't think you can, which, sorry, love, just I feel mean when I do that. So we'll give you feedback. You can ring and ask me a question. You can, we'll give you some formal feedback. You can watch all our videos. There's lots of ways that we've tried to give you the best advice about evidence in terms of streamlining the evidence, okay? So, yeah, have a look at all of that if you like. If you like. Very good. Very good. That's a during, any more befores. Yes. Now, we are giving you all of the audit tools. So, Christy, lovely to be seeing you there. Welcome. We are going to give you all of the audit tools that we are going to use on site. Right now, we're going to give you the questions that we're going to ask. We are going to give you, I think there's 3 or 4 tools that we use whilst we're doing the audit, and we're going to give them to you well in advance. Now, how's that making it quicker and easier? We want you to have a look at the sorts of things that we're going to ask to see beforehand. We want you to pick out the client files. We want you to pick out the HR files that we look at, and we want you to make sure they're in good nick. All right, so don't just pull them out on the day and go, here's 5, we're open, honest. I want you to have done that weeks before and check that everything's in there. Okay, and I want you to walk around using our observation checklist that your assessor will use, and I want you to walk around your place and make sure everything's there. Okay, so that you get top marks. Okay, so that's a form of internal auditing to do that. And we're going to give you some tools to be able to do that before we come. And what do we say, Liska? We call that check yourself before you wreck yourself. That's what I say. That's what I say. All right, so we're going to give you the tools to be able to do that. All right, so if we come and you can't find your first aid kit, that's on you. That's on you. All right, so that's another way to make it easy. Yeah.
You're making me laugh today.
Oh, I'm glad, Lisa. That's half my job.
That's great.
That's my job. I'm glad I'm making you laugh today. What am I hearing in the background? Am I hearing something that I've got on? Must be me in the background. I'm sorry. I'm just going to get that off. 1 second. Oh, I know what's happened. I had another video running in the background. God, that's so me. I'm so good with technology. I was hearing my own voice. I thought, what's going on? So maybe I wasn't making Lisa laugh today. Maybe I was making her laugh back at 2021, which is when that video was on in the background was done. Okay. Another thing that we can do before the assessment, some organisations choose this, is to do a gap assessment. Now, this is a bit of an upsell. I'm not usually like this, but it's going to sound like a bit of an upsell. But what some organisations get us to do is before we come and do the assessment is we do a gap assessment. Now, for the organisation, this is a risk management approach, right? Because what they're thinking is, we really need to make sure that we get our accreditation. We've got maybe recommissioning or this big funding opportunity coming up. Got to make sure that we nail it, right? We can't get into that 6-month quality action plan period, right? That could be risky. So they get us to do a gap assessment beforehand. Now, how does this streamline the assessment? Well, what it does is it gives you the focus of what you need to put your effort into fixing. Right? Instead of going, oh, we're pretty great, it's probably all very good. Or even some organisations do this, they go, oh, it's all shit, it's all terrible. We don't have any policy, no, it's all bad. Right? So let us be the judge of that. And let us come in and do a gap assessment. Now, it won't be the same, you won't have the same assessor and the same gap assessor. Right? That's a big auditing no-no. You might have someone else on the Highway team, but it won't be the same person who come and does your formal assessment, right? Because that's got to have that sort of, integrity around it and that objectivity. And if we've come and done a gap assessment, who knows what we're going to see? So, so when you get your gap assessment report, it tells you, right, you're 65% there, you focus on this, 35% here, you're going to be fine. So that's a much easier way for people to make sure they're going to get that sort of, or not make sure, but, maximise the opportunity to get 100%. So I just want to say, for some organisations, if they've had a lot of change over the last 3 years, or they're not quite sure, or they're starting out, they sometimes get us to come and do a gap assessment. That's becoming more common, right, because of the critical nature of keeping your accreditation or gaining your accreditation. Do you know what I mean? So that's another way to streamline the gap assessment. The assessment is to think about that beforehand. And a really good way to streamline the assessment for you is to engage many people. Right? And I'm thinking about engaging the right people. I don't just think have a ton of people around the table and just, do everything by committee. Oh, that would be a terrible time waster. But to have the key people engaged from the start. Now, for us, the key people, the ones that are probably really hard to engage, the key people are the board. Yeah. And the key people are the executive or the people, the top sort of managers in the organisation. They're key people because they're going to have a big role to play in the accreditation. They're going to be helping you to find evidence. They're going to be answering questions from the assessor. If there's gaps, they're going to be helping you to quickly get them fixed up. So those key people, you want to engage them nice and early. And the way that we have thought about to help you to engage those people is we have developed some, we call them self-assessment checklists for specific people in your organisation. So there's one for the board, and it says to the board, these are all the things you need to be across. If you're going to be helpful in this accreditation, this is what you need to know. All right. So they go through it and they go, yep, we know where that is, and we've got one of those. That's really good. So it's affirming, right? Because it's also looking at the strengths and everything. So I've got one of those for the board, one of those for CEO, finance, HR, managers, right? There's one for everybody. So everyone can be informed nice and early about the sorts of things that they'll need to be across to be helpful in the assessment. All right, so I've got all those for you. Just a couple more things. During the assessment, right? So that's all before the assessment. Some things we can do and some things you can do. During the assessment, the way that we want to streamline it is we will have a look at those other reports that you've got. So if you've had other accreditations or you have met other standards, show us those. Show us those, right? Because we can tick off a lot of things if we can see that you've been validated by another third party. Okay, so we will take that. During the assessment, we will apply proportionality rules, okay, and contextualizing. And what that means is we will see you in the context of you, right? I'm not going to come in to Orange Local Aboriginal Land Council and assess you the same way as we're assessing women's community shelters, right? We're going to see you in the size that you are, in the community that you're servicing, in the numbers of staff that you have, all right? So we wouldn't want you to think you had to create a risk management plan, for example, that was, BHP level. We would expect that if you're a small team, you would be talking a lot about risk management. You might have more talking, more discussion and things that are minuted at the sort of, leadership level than is written down in plans and frameworks and all that there. So we really want we want to support you in the assessment process to understand who you are and you tell us your story. Okay, if we think you need to have a bigger risk management plan or framework, we'll let you know. We'll say, oh, you've got this, that now, you own this building now, you probably should beef that up a bit. You see? So we don't compare you with any other service, and we want you to do the same. Well, that's why we want to look at your evidence early, is to say, you don't need all that. You just give us 2 or 3 of those, and one of these, you'll be fine. Okay, so we really take that seriously. It's not cookie cutter approach to assessing. It's so let's see who these people are, what are they doing, what's their strategic plan, where are they heading, if they got all the right systems in place to get them there, that sort of thing. Yeah, really, it's about keeping everyone safe as a bare minimum assessment. It's about making sure everybody's safe. So that's where we start, but we also look at your aspirations and things as well. Okay. So proportionality is a very important rule for us. It's built into our deed of agreement with the standards owners. All right. So we're always talking about, what would a small organisation be giving and what would a large organisation be giving as evidence? We're always talking about that. So I really want you to see yourself where you are. All right. Don't pretend you're big and fancy if you're not. You'd be who you are and you tell us that story. Because there's big and fancy approaches to evidence gathering that I have seen that I think, why is this organisation doing this to themselves? Right? So there's a tip for you. During the assessment, we are really contextualising what we're seeing as evidence for you, for who you are. So, yes, we want you to do that as well. We'll also have group interviews. That makes it easier. We're not going to interview every person by themselves. We're going to put them in a room together. We're going to interview them. We can interview them online. I got approval today officially from the Service Excellence team to do all our interviews online if we want to. So if you're a regional service and you've got some over there and some over there and you want them to be involved, let's just do it online so everybody can be part of it. It's another way we streamline these assessments. We have a very flexible interview schedule. I do see your hand, Christy. I'm being rude, aren't I? Let's hear from Christy now. I didn't want to go too much further.
No, that's okay. I just wanted to check when you talked about the comparing like for like in terms of accreditations. I'm from Southern Youth and Family Services, so you're probably fully aware with Ange with where we're at. I just wanted to confirm that we're doing that from the very beginning rather than doing it as we hand it over to you guys. We'll do it from the beginning. That's okay, yeah?
Absolutely. Yeah, okay. Absolutely. But we'll do it too, like because we're assessing documents before we come, but we're assessing a lot while we're on site.
Yep.
With your organisation, I just wanted if it's okay to say this organisation is incredibly important in the leadership for this equivalency question in the sector because they're the ones that are doing this pilot with us. So I'm very excited that we're getting to work with them and having a look at how their other accreditations map across to this one. So thank you, Christy.
Excited too. Thank you for helping.
It's amazing. So they're going to be the streamlining kings and queens and kings, I should have said. There we go.
Like work.
All right. So that's, yes. Of course, do it right from the start. Good job. Good job. We're very flexible in our interview schedule. We will interview people after hours, not on weekends, but after hours, like, Monday to Friday, 5 till 7 or whatever. We'll do it then. If we need to get some VIPs involved, and they work all day, we can interview them after hours. That's fine. We can even interview them the week before, the week after. We've got that time to play with there. All right. So we don't want to force everyone into this kind of accreditation schedule. We want people to feel that they can participate, you know, how it's meaningful for them. Same with clients, right? Clients are the VIPs in the assessment. So I have interviewed clients on weekends because that's how important they are to this process. So very flexible scheduling to make it easier for everyone to participate. All right, I think we're bringing it home now. After the assessment, we will populate a quality action plan if there are gaps. And so we'll help you very quickly to get on with addressing any gaps. In fact, the last day of our time with you on site, we will give you our provisional findings. So if you want to go home that night and get started on it, you can. Okay, Liska, I'm talking to you. Lisa, I'm talking to you. I know you women. I know how fast you work. All right, so that is the sort of things that we can do to help with streamlining. Now, I wanted to let you know 2 tips that I think would help with streamlining quite significantly. And one of them is start the conversations with everybody in your organisation nice and early. Put it on the agenda 12 months out. All right, so meeting agendas, just always put accreditation on there. And the other thing that we saw when we went to an organisation in the early days that I loved was they had a Teams channel or Teams conversation going, and they posted a different question every week, and they had people typing in what their evidence would be if they had to show the assessor that. And people seemed to enjoy that level of engagement, you know. So, and that was very supportive for the quality lead as well. I didn't feel so lonely just labouring away over there on accreditation. Had everybody involved. And the standards themselves are being streamlined as we speak. We are about the 4th month into the rewrite of the standards, so there'll be a whole new version. Any points going now, winner chicken dinner. If anybody can guess what next version number will be. Oh, I'm telling you, it's an overhaul. So what do you think the next version number will be?
Version 10, maybe?
Version 10. Coming your way, Liska. All right, so it's big in the making. There are a range of focus groups. At the moment, those focus groups are only happening in South Australia, but they are going to be coming to New South Wales. There'll be a series of focus groups in this next 12 months to engage you all in helping to rewrite those standards. And the evidence guide. The evidence guide is a big, ugly, clunky thing that not many people find very helpful. And I steer people away from it. Isn't that sad? Because it's old, because it's mostly South Australian focused, because it's mostly community centre focused, tiny community centre focus. And it's just not helpful. And people start to treat it like a checklist. So stay away from the evidence guide unless you really don't understand what that indicator is saying. Like if you're just sitting there going, what does this mean? Then go to the evidence guide and see there's a bit of explainer about what the indicator is about. But don't use it for anything else. It's not a great document in its current form. That's being redone as well. So that will also streamline things. Well, how's that feel, everyone? I feel like we've nailed it. Christy, you didn't get to give your legendary tips for streamlining assessments. Did you want to share anything that makes it easier from your perspective?
We have a team that operates, so we're not due for accreditation till this time next year. We had our first accreditation team meeting this morning, and we have just looked at how we're going to do it, looked at how we, because we have a team of, I think we've got about 6 this time doing it, we're going to divide the accreditation into 6 parts, and each person will take one section. And then we will hand that section over to the next person to be checked and double checked, and then ready for upload when we're ready. So yeah, definitely having a team around you is definitely important, and a team of all different levels. So we've got everything from managers right through to staff, through to we've actually even got a student involved this time. So yeah, it's important to have a bit of everything.
Christy, I've never heard of an organisation doing it like that. That's amazing.
Yeah, we've done this. We're accredited in 13 different packages, and this is our third time through ASES, so we're playing the game.
That is. Well, I love that that's the way we get to finish off. That's a very positive example, isn't it, of how engaging many people can help to make it quicker and easier for everyone. That's what we're about, streamlining the assessment, cutting out all of the extra fluff, all the things we don't need. All right. So our accreditation effort really hits the mark. So thank you, everyone, for being part of this. Any questions, any comments before we say goodbye? There is time.
Marie, you just mentioned the self-assessments for certain faculties. Where would I get hold? Are they on your website? Great.
They
okay.
are. And I will need to just let you know where they are. Just one moment. I'm going to go in there and just open open that up so I can. So everyone, if you want to join me, I'm going to the Highwire Group website, and we click into the tab called Free Resources. We go into the ASES Client Resources. I'll share this page with you now so we can have a look together. And I should be able to locate this for LISCA quite easily, because I think it is in. I see all these resources here, everyone. Oh, is that it there? There it is. On the Wire, session 21, sharing the load. Can you see them there, LISCA?
That's great. Thank you so much.
So if I open up the governance self-assessment guide, I wonder if you're seeing that. I'll just make sure you are seeing that by clicking on that again. And that's what it looks like. So sometimes what I've done is I've facilitated this for a board at their board meeting, and we've just taken an hour to go through it. You see, these are all the indicators that the board would need to be across, because they'll be asked questions on it, or they might need to submit some evidence. All right, so it's just a go through there, answer yes or no, and then indicate the sort of document that they could use to show that they've got that in place. So there's one of those for all the leaders in the organisation. I think there's also one for staff. Having said that, just let me check. I think there is one for staff as well. CEO, finance, governance, manager, staff. There we go. It's one for everyone. It's just a different view of the standards. So when you were saying there, Christy, that you've divided them all up, this could be another way to divide them up, I suppose. Yeah? Helpful? Great question, LISCA. Thank you.
Yes, that's actually how we're doing it.
There you go. All right, so streamlining, that's it. All right, I'm going to stop recording now, team. Thank you very much for being here. You're live wires, lovely people in the room here, and those of you that are watching. Happy trails.
Thanks, Marie.
Thanks,
Bye, everybody.
Marie. See you later. Bye.